I know we have I know we have three for sure here today. So we'll start with those three. Um, Now these are clubs that have shown growth in the last year to 2 years. So during COVID, they've grown. So we're going to hear a little bit from them about this. And we're going to, Mary Lou, past District Governor Mary Lou Harrison, is going to be our moderator for this panel. So for those of you who haven't met Mary Lou, you must have. Well, maybe not. You could be newer Rotarian. So Mary Lou was just sharing a little bit of what's been happening in her life if you got here early. Mary Lou was district governor in 2018-2019. She comes from a Rotary family. She's currently a member of the Toronto Sunrise Club, but has been members of, I would say, at least 3 other clubs, or 2 other clubs. Mary Lou is a huge promoter of, I'm just going to say females in Rotary, but diversity in Rotary. Okay. Our panelists are, we have Prince Kumar. He's the president of the Toronto Club. Make noise, Prince, or wave or something. So, okay, we'll see. We have Leanne Radoxe from the Sterling Club. There's Leanne. And we should have Yvonne Brady from the from the Whitby Sunrise Club. I'm not sure if Yvonne is here yet, but we definitely have Kathy Carson, who is a membership co-chair from the Scarborough Club. Oh, there. Okay, so Mary Lou, I'm going to ask you to start us off, and we might want to leave Yvonne till the end. Joan, could you send Yvonne a little message? I do know she registered yesterday, so. Okay, take it away, Mary Lou. Okay, but you will have to unmute.
Right. Let me share the mug for this purpose from Rotary. Sorry, I think you're muted right there. All right. I have another one that says, please mute yourself. It's more useful. So Virginia, thank you so much for inviting me to be the moderator today. It's amazing to be here in the company of incredible people who want to grow Rotary so that we can do more good in the world, and in a world that desperately needs us to do more good and bring more hope. And I'm coming to you fresh from a week of conversations with Rotary regional leaders from around the globe. And I want to share with you that there were 2 driving forces behind every presentation and behind every conversation. And those were Rotary's action plan and Rotary's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Rotary's action plan and Rotary's DEI commitment, every conversation, every presentation. And for me, this felt like a radical shift in our organization. And if you sense the emotion in my voice, it's there. It's a big deal. It's a big shift. And in fact, a radical shift is what we need to grow Rotary. And that's why we're here. In June of 2020, the World Economic Forum met, and they planned for the Great Reset in our post-pandemic life. And we seem to be getting to our post-pandemic life. And the Great Reset feels like it's happening in Rotary too. So today's panelists are going to share their reset success stories for membership recruitment and, equally important, membership retention. We have 4 rockstar panelists, or we will have 4 when Yvonne joins us. So Kathy, Prince, Yvonne, and Leanne, thank you all for being here. I have 3 questions for each of you developed by the Grow Rotary Committee, and we have 20 minutes. So if you do the math, that means you need to be concise, please, in your responses. So pick one thing to share, one tip for success. You'll have just over a minute for your responses, but do not worry, we're going to have breakout sessions afterwards so we can take a deeper dive into answers and into questions after that. All right, so let's get started. 3 questions. Question 1. Your clubs are adding members, and that takes work. How are you getting there? And we'll start with you, Kathy.
Well, thank you, Mary Lou. It's really not just one thing, but I would say that for the Rotary Club of Scarborough, of which Richard, my co-chair, is here, and Joan is here, the biggest thing for over the past 2 years has been our sort of visibility in the community, because we've had a lot going on despite the fact that there's been a pandemic. We've taken the opportunity to do a number of projects, and that visibility and being out there and boots to the ground kind of style has attracted a lot of people to us, be it a shelter box or remembrance tree, food projects and so on. So I would think that would be our greatest sort of number one piece for attracting new members. Thank you.
Amazing. Community visibility. And Prince.
All right. I'll keep it fairly simple, actually. And if it's okay, I'll quickly share my screen if I can. I think I can. So very simple. Think of it as a 3-step strategy. Of course, there's lots of things, as Kathy talked about. First step, on our website, we finally put a join button. So that way people know where to go to join. And you click on that button and you fill out your form, name, you have your fees and all of that kind of stuff. And that's great. But who's going to fill that out? We got to get the word out there. So the next step, we put an Instagram account for the first time, and we got 1,100 followers. I was like, wow, we have so many followers. Doesn't make sense. Well, we came up with an Instagram strategy. We started sharing stories. We started talking about you're invited to join, and we started doing that for every 5th post. Once we got the contacts, we created something called the potential new member sheet. And basically, every single contact that came in, and we have 70 so far that have come in through this process, and 18 of them have joined. Actually, I think it's 19 now as of last week. 19 of them have joined. We basically put together a membership team that followed up, wrote down notes. One actually just clicked on it this morning. He said, I'm a returning member, and I'd like to join in. And we got the membership committee to put in notes and all of that kind of stuff. So very simple. Put a join button, advertise it, and do something about the people that are joining it.
Amazing. And that's a plan, and that's an integrated plan. That is incredible. Thank you so much. The power of a plan followed by action. And Leanne, I'll call on you next. How's your club adding new members?
We're doing something that not everybody can do, and I'll touch on it only briefly, and that is we have a new subdivision in town. And in that new subdivision, 2 of our Rotary members already live. And within a week of you moving into that subdivision, you will know about Rotary. So now that's not something everybody can do, but it's along the same line, right? Is you get out and talk to people. So we have a couple members that always wear the Rotary swag. So if they go to the farmer's market, they wear their Rotary clothing. Past President Shelley, she wears her Rotary pin everywhere she goes, and you get talking. I'm part of the curling club. So when you sit down for our social time after curling, it's easy to fit in a conversation about, we just gave money to Ukraine, or we're running this fundraiser, would you like to be part of it? And I had 10 members sign up for our recent fundraising activity. So you get them involved that way, and then you just move forward. And by talking to them and telling them about the good we do, you get them interested. You invite your friends, you invite, talk to Rotary to the parents from your son's or grandson's hockey team, or, when you're waiting for them at gymnastics class, it's just about talking about it. We have a local home show coming up. We're going to have pamphlets at that. And it's just visibility and being out there.
Amazing. And having been to Sterling, I can tell you, you can't drive through the community without knowing Rotary is in the world. So well done. Well done. And Yvonne has joined us. Welcome, Yvonne.
Hi, everybody. Firstly, my apologies. Very bad Rotarian of me not to have the link. So I apologize. Totally my bad. Yes, thank you so much for having me. We are thrilled to join you as Whitby Sunrise.
All right. So here's the question for you. Just get right off the bat. I know you're ready. So your club, I know, is adding members, and that takes work. Can you give us one tip for success? One way you're doing that?
Yeah, I absolutely will. And the first thing that resonates with me, and I made a note, and I'm going to reference Val Wafer in this as well. And Val is a strong advocate for being your authentic self. So that's exactly what we do at Whitby Sunrise. We keep it real, and we keep it informal, and we are just true to ourselves as both Rotarians and individuals. So that's one of the biggest things, that allowed this growth in our club. And honestly, we keep it fun.
That is 100% true. Having been being a past president of Whitby Sunrise, I know that is absolutely true. Lots of fun to be had, and easy ways to join in that fun from what I've seen.
Yeah, one really great example is even just during COVID with our inductions and with all our new members, we have this thing where everybody wears a goofy hat. So as soon as we know an induction's on the agenda, everybody goes and grabs their goofy hats, and we just have fun with the inductions as well.
Amazing. All right, and that fun is a good segue into the next question, which is really about retention. How do we keep people once they're in the door, right? Because that's just as important. Putting my public image hat on, it's very bad public image to bring people into Rotary, not meet expectations and have them leave, right? It's bad for relationships, and it's bad for Rotary's public image. So I'm going to start with you, Prince. What is one of your strategies for engaging members at all stages of membership? If you can give us a tip for during COVID and now that we're in the post-COVID world.
Absolutely. So our engagement levels, and we measure them, we're typically at about 50%. And we define engagement as members that are active in at least 2 activities or an active committee. This year, we've grown that to 82%. And our membership has grown significantly. How are we doing it? Very, very simple. The board does a check-in call with every single member, especially during COVID. And we ask them, what are they doing? We ask them, how can we help? And we've simplified our structure. So it's very simple. Hey, do you want to start an idea? We'll get you going. Do you want to review an idea? We'll get you in a committee. Do you want to be helping with service or marketing and all of that kind of stuff? Great, we'll get you going in that. So if I have to give you one tip, check-in calls, ask them how they're doing, and get them engaged. Give them an actual project to do, and they'll do it.
Incredible. I also like the way that you have defined engagement, because it gives you a way to measure engagement, right? Okay, Leanne, what about your club? How are you retaining people?
Yeah, I agree with Prince on the check-in call. That was a great idea through COVID, and we did that as well. We reached out to as many as we could. We were very lucky. We only missed one meeting in the switchover from in-person to COVID happening and getting to Zoom and getting members on Zoom, helping people to be able to join. I think my tip is I try to give people little assignments, and I mean little assignments. So I might say at the end of the meeting, okay, this coming week, I want everybody to reach out to a friend. Reach out to a friend you haven't talked to in a while, somebody that you might be feeling a little lonely, a family member or something. And then the next week, when we're having Happy Bucks, I'd like you to tell me what happened. And I found that that's been really good to have people, they'll tell me who they reached out to, and it might be somebody they haven't talked to in 3 weeks, and it might be somebody they haven't talked to in 6 months. And then they're more engaged in the actual meeting than just saying, oh, I'm happy because the weather's nice. Mm-hmm. They get more involved in saying, kind of how things are going with someone that they know. And I think then they feel pleased with themselves that they have done that. So that's one of our strategies for keeping people more engaged throughout the
Amazing. Giving people an easy way to be a person of action.
Very easy.
Incredible. Yvonne?
Yeah, for us, we strongly believe in the KYC platform, which is Know Your Customer, or in this case, Know Your Rotarian. So we understand that our community is a commuter community. So our meetings actually reflect that. So one of the things we did during COVID is we maintained our member expectation of what a meeting looks like. Quickly, moved in probably after 2 weeks into COVID, and just kept our meetings the same, right into breakout rooms like you would do pre-meeting networking, and just created that similar expectation. It really worked for us. Our member care team, so we have a member care team who quickly jumped into go mode. especially for some of maybe our older Rotarians who were struggling a little more through the pandemic. So those were some key things, and we developed a new member group, and they meet on Zoom, and as we're opening up, they're meeting in person, like having a beer, keeping it real. So
Wow.
lots of engagement.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And Kathy, what about in Scarborough?
No, thank you. To reiterate the others, certainly the reach out. So if you look at 2 years ago, exactly from now, we had a year of adjustment in Zoom City, and then we've had and sort of adjusting to Zoom and happy to be together through Zoom, and then we've had a sort of a year of maybe being tired of Zoom. So the membership committee looked the first year at reaching out to those more vulnerable, maybe more senior or sick, and just touching base through reach outs, through Christmas cards, that type of thing. The second year, it's been more trying to reach out and just see who, looking at the engagement piece with respect to attending our weekly meetings. And we don't have we still don't have in-person meetings due to a venue issue more than due to COVID. So we're still meeting via Zoom. So it's the engagement or disengagement with Zoom. And so trying to delve into that and dig down deep for that data. We've been doing that over the course of late 2021 and 2022. The corollary to that is our events themselves. I mentioned earlier, boots to the ground. We've created a boots to the ground list for those members who really just are just chomping away to get active. So they haven't been able to really do anything since Christmas that's meaningful and other than just the weekly meeting. So we've got a list of that, and we've had some fun nights, trivia nights, a Christmas party auction, holiday auction night, and a few other sort of themed events to try to, as the first speaker, I think it was Prince or whoever it was, said fun, to try to have some fun. So it's been a sort of a hybrid of different strategies, and we're trying to get to the bottom of things, but that's us at Scarborough.
Amazing. I love the boots to the ground list. That's fantastic. And so we've alluded to it, this big change that's happening again. So if I use the word pivot one more time, I'm trying to just exclude that from my vocabulary, but we're being agile and we're adapting, and the ability to adapt is actually the fourth priority in Rotary's action plan. So here we are, we're all getting good at it. So as we adapt, as we move back to in-person, what is your plan for getting both new members, people who probably joined in the last 2 years, and existing members to attend in-person meetings and events, and to deal with that reintegration or getting back to our new normal? And so we're going to start with you, Leanne.
Okay, so with us being a smaller club and also having our own venue, because we have the train station that we moved a number of years ago, we've been meeting in person since the 1st of February. We've been able to have a lot more in-person meetings than a lot of the other places, but we're 100% doing hybrid. All the members have agreed that that's the way to go. And it allows the new members, because a lot of our new members now we're really focusing on the younger people, and they have jobs. So some people listen in on their drive to work and things like that. So just getting them involved in the meeting and then showing them how much fun it is and how, I think our meetings are very enjoyable. I do a PowerPoint every meeting, some fun pictures on it and everything, and really try to engage so that the people that are on Zoom also feel more like that they're a part there, share my screen, and they're able to see and hear the same as everybody else. So it gives an opportunity for the new members to maybe get their feet wet more that way, and then start coming to a meeting. We have breakfast pods, because we make our own breakfast too, which is unusual. And we make our own breakfast. Delicious. And so we encourage new members. So the pod leaders will reach out to the new members to get involved in the breakfast pods as well. And that, again, gets them there, gets them into the hall. And then I hope they see how great of a meeting we have, and will continue to come back.
Amazing. Thank you so very much. Yeah, breakfast in Sterling, delicious. Yvonne, what about at Whitby Sunrise?
Well, Whitby Sunrise. So again, we're a smaller community. Getting back to in person was a little bit more of a struggle to find space for 104 members. We actually looked at 23 different venues so that we could kind of make sure we had the technology, because going to Leanne's point, hybrid is absolutely important for our membership, new, existing, and seasoned. So with new members, I have a plan to get them all on the schedule for classifications. I have a plan to do an official induction ceremony for all the new members we've taken on during COVID. For established members, I've been talking to them every chance I get, going, what's your personal situation? When do you think you're coming back? Is that April, May? Are you more comfortable in June, so that we can guide this journey for us? We are thrilled to share that we will be going back in person April 6th. So we had a ton of teams in technology, venue, speakers. We've moved to squares for both in-person meeting fees, as well as an email link to a square for our Zoom participants. So we're trying to be very inclusive for every piece of our membership.
Can you explain what a square is?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
It's-
okay. I don't know, so I think others might not know. So tell us.
It's a tap.
Oh, that, okay.
Yep.
So for paying your fees.
Yep. And there is a link you can get that you can use to tap virtually if you're participating in a Zoom. So
Perfect. I was thinking square and pod. I thought, oh, a square is a new pod, but okay, yeah, this is helpful. This is helpful. Thank you. So it was out of context for me. So thank you for the clarification. Let's move to Kathy and your strategy for re-engagement.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so to reiterate the hybrid model, again, I mentioned earlier that we have not met in person yet, and there are some that will be reluctant to meet in person. So as the weather gets better, once we find our venue, we'll definitely be investigating the hybrid model, and we're already on that. Another idea, we are having a live Break Fest, so that's going to bring out our members live, and that excitement happened in our Christmas stuff when we had our Tree of Remembrance and so on. So that's really invigorating for our new members, as per what the others have said. Just the actual excitement of physical contact with people that you've only seen on a computer screen is very exciting. So we will continue with our Rib Fest and golf tournament this summer for fundraisers, and that will sort of ingratiate our newest members as well. We're looking at possibly moving our or not moving, but maybe having to, but our President's Barbecue, which would be in September, to a social in the summertime, if we can manage that. And that will be something that hasn't happened. I joined actually Rotary in November of 2019, and I've never been to a President's Barbecue because they haven't happened. So that'll be something for me that will be exciting, as per previous members and newer ones. So those are some of the ideas that we have so far. And we will be, as the spring happens, we'll be investigating further, and some great ideas from our fellow panelists.
Great, thank you so much. Having something to look forward to, whether it's in Rotary or your personal life or your business life, just in general, is so helpful to being excited, to want to get up and go and do the thing that you're going to do. And it also helps balance out, the things that might be a little less interesting, like the planning meeting that has to happen so that people can feel included and welcomed, and all the follow-up. So thank you all so very much. I want to share with you that there was President Jennifer Jones has a philosophy of membership that was shared throughout the International Assembly, and watching these videos, and it was called the comfort and care philosophy of membership. And it sounds like all of your clubs, and you as leaders in all of your clubs, are providing both comfort and care. And where we have comfort and care, we have inclusion. And I wanted to share, just to finish off our bit here, and I think we're reasonably on time. So thank you all for being succinct and having so many wonderful things to add. That when we think about diversity, equity, and inclusion, there has to be a reason why. Why do we do that? And of course, if we think about Rotary's four-way test, diversity, equity, inclusion is a natural extension of the four-way test. But somebody put it this way: diversity is a fact. We live in diverse communities with people of diverse backgrounds, skill sets, abilities, gender, all the kinds of diversity that you can think of. Diversity is a fact, it exists. Equity, though, is a choice. Inclusion is an action. It's what we do. but the outcome is belonging. And you must all be doing a pretty great job of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because you are increasing the number of people who can say they belong to our Rotary movement. So thank you all so very much. And with that, Virginia, I'll toss it back to you.
Okay, well, I'm going to, Madam Panelists, I don't know that I heard Prince's answer to the last question.
Oh my goodness.
Now,
Prince,
maybe maybe I fell asleep.
That's why we have time. So Prince, please forgive me and give us your answer to the move back.
Not to worry. So we have been on and off on hybrid, and we carefully assess every meeting to say it's going to be hybrid or virtual only. I'll share three interesting things. Of course, like everyone here with COVID, it's been difficult to meet, especially the new members, especially because we've had so many new members. So one of the really cool things that we're doing is we're calling this an Ask Me Anything cocktail event. And we did this last year, huge success. We're having one this Thursday. We're going to have another one in May. We comp the cocktail and hors d'oeuvres for our new members and potential members. And our seasoned members come in, and it's just a great time. We have lots of laughs. It's wonderful. The second thing that we're doing is in our president's cocktails, which also happens periodically. We're going to be highlighting some of the new members, because a lot of seasoned members haven't interacted in person. They have virtually, but they haven't interacted in person. So we're really highlighting and featuring our new members, and they're loving it. The third thing that I'm going to talk about is fun, which I think people talked about. We have something called the How We Hobby segment in every single meeting, where people share how they hobby. Just take a couple of minutes and just share how they hobby. And we're encouraging people, and I'd love to invite the entire district to do this next year. We had a wonderful St. Patty's Day parade. I know we're going to be participating in the Pride Parade. So parades across the city, events across the city, come together, and it was just a great time. There were a bunch of new members that showed up, and the seasoned members like, oh, you're a member of Rotary? I didn't even know that. And they connected right away, and it was great.
Amazing. Well, that is a perfect way to wrap up then. And so now I really will toss the ball back to you, Virginia. Thank you, Prince.
Okay, and I'm going to toss the ball to Joan. And Joan's going to tell us about the breakout sessions. And Bob, hopefully that'll give you the information you need.
Okay, and thank you just to Mary Lou for being the moderator of the panel, and to all the panelists who gave us so much really, really good information. I think we all have something to take away. And now we have the opportunity to go into breakout rooms, which Bob has organized. You will be in a group and stay with your group. It's the panelist who will move. Feel free to ask for more details of something you heard one of the panelists say, and you will get to see each panelist. You'll have close to 15 minutes in the session. And then when we come back, we will have a quick throw at an idea you got, and I will write it on the whiteboard and capture it. And any of you that may want some of that information later, we will be happy to send it off to you. And so when you get into the breakout room, please just we don't really need someone in charge of the breakout room. I think basically the panelists will just say, okay, I'm ready, let's go. But I think if you introduce yourselves, please just make it your first name, the club you're from, perhaps how many years you've been in Rotary. Let's keep it short. We really want to tap into the expertise of our panelists. Okay, so Bob, when you're ready, you can send them off. And remember, you will be invited to join a room. Just hit that join button. If it says room 1, just click on it and you will go to that room. Have fun, enjoy, make sure you ask lots of good questions.
Okay, Joan, so I've got it all set up. You're going to go to your rooms now for 15 minutes. And you want me to move the moderators every couple of minutes?
Roughly every 12 minutes, I believe we've got roughly 12 minutes per group.
Per group. Okay, I will do.
That's right. So yeah, just after 12 minutes, move the panelists.
Right,
Okay,
give them the
so-
60-second warning so that they know.
So we're gone for 48 minutes then.
That's about right.
Okay, so we're all set then. Have fun.
That was an excellent, excellent panels. Just great. Thank you very much for everybody, to everybody.
Yes.
Mhm.
Learned a lot.
I'd just like to add the same thing. I think the panelists were amazing. The moderator was amazing. And the breakout rooms, there was some really great conversation, which leads us to the wrap up. And hopefully you've got a key idea that maybe you can share back in the whole group. I'm going to be doing the whiteboard. I'll get that set up in just a second. Jim is going to monitor the chat line, and Virginia is going to moderate the hands up. But we're good Rotarians. Maybe you can just call out. So I'm just going to get ready to get my whiteboard. And like I said earlier, this will be available. I will save it. And if anybody would like to see it, feel free to ask me to send it out to you. And I'm going to be doing
Actually, I think we can post it on the website.
Okay, no problem. Okay. I'm ready when everybody else is ready.
Richard is here to speak up. What I loved hearing was DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, has now been expanded to DEI BA, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and accessibility or adaptability.
Okay. I will expand that later, but there we go. I've got it there and I will expand that out. Okay, good.
I think people are just going to have to sort of do a little bit of calling out, because I'm having trouble seeing everybody for hands up. So,
Well, I guess the one thing that I heard from each of the different panel members is that social media and communication is very, very important. So if you have somebody who's good in your club that does that, it could be key to getting your brand out into the community.
and visibility. So to add to that, that's part of visibility. So whether it's things you're doing out there, or projects, or social media, any kind of visibility.
And the one visibility that we heard about that is intriguing is this Christmas tree.
Yeah.
It was quite good, quite good. And it could replace a rib fest, or, you know, it would be a good fundraiser. It's doable.
I don't think it replaces, but it's a complement.
Yeah, it could be, right. Well, I guess in my ideas, we're
Delete. Oh God,
our rib fest, so.
I want to delete that. Where's your delete? There it is. There.
Okay, other people. I saw everybody furiously writing things down. So share, please.
Well,
I really like the Toronto Club social media approach. I think that's really, really kind of cool.
And I love the funny hats for Zoom. If going on Zoom, everybody wear a funny hat. It sort of brings everybody together. I like that idea.
Just one comment. Christmas tree, maybe clarify it as tree of remembrance.
Yes, I will put that up there. I will do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
What the Twilight Club has done is we had one of our members who did our social media, Angela Brown, she's our current president, but she hasn't been well. So it's a kind of a crazy story. I bumped into this man when I was pumping gas. I couldn't get my gas cap off properly. Anyway, don't ask me how we started talking, but he has a son that goes to, oh my Lord, what's the high school in Scarborough that does all the used to be the old Porter Collegiate. Anyway.
Oh,
so
SATEC.
SATEC. Thank you very much, SATEC. So his son needs community service hours. So he's going to start doing all our social media. And he's only 15. And I said to the father, you know, is he any good on social media? And the father said, well, put it this way. He's in charge of all the social media for the LCBO for Southern Ontario. So what the kid doesn't know, the father knows. So okay, good. And he's also, we're trying to get him to become the father, to become one of our members. So that might be another instance for people that need social media, you know, like a high school student who needs community service hours.
I'll just add, and I know we talked about it in a couple of breakouts, is the join button. You can have social media, you can have visibility,
Call to action.
go out there, but
That's
if you
right.
don't
Yes,
have
exactly.
a place to hang your hat, in other words, a call for action, and a join button, all you need is if you have a Gmail, you can create a join button. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a little thing where people can go in and put their name, email, and phone number. That's all you're looking for.
Yeah.
So to Prince's point, if anyone needs assistance with that, get a hold of me.
Okay.
Great.
Perfect.
And
But
I
then
like
follow up on them,
Yeah,
on the leads.
yeah.
Don't let them
Follow up.
hang.
That's right. Follow up. The idea of posting about or talking about just things that your Rotary members are doing. So again, the Toronto Club, how we hobby. Like that's not even it gives people another dimension to Rotarians. I think that's fabulous.
And I guess I heard a lot about just calling the members. Just if somebody is in charge, that you call them, you reach out, you speak with people. You don't just get them on your roster. You call them, you get them involved.
I think for me, listening to the other panelists at the beginning, the two things I think, Prince, is your whole and Toronto Club social media is strategy. It's not an approach, there's a strategy. And he mentioned the three stages. So Joan changed that word from approach to strategy. That's the key piece for me that I learned today in terms of data-driven approach. And then the other key piece on the other end moving forward is in the social part is having fun. And I like the idea of, and we haven't done this and we need to do it, is the new members gathering. We have to celebrate the new members that have joined during Zoom, of which I just proceeded. But and a new members gathering, I think, is a great idea, a live gathering and the celebration thereof. I like that idea.
It's a couple of people talked about this, about the idea of giving people small tasks as a way of getting them engaged, because it often leads on to something else, like, doable, achievable, short time frame, and then just see where that goes. Yeah.
Right.
Vince, do you still recognize long-term members? I remember that you used to give out certificates or whatever for 30 years or 25 years and 35 years and so on at a special event.
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually just last year we did a wonderful ceremony, and we got anyone who's 25 years, 35, I think it was 35, 40, and 50 years. We had one that have been long-standing members. We don't do it, and we haven't done it on an annual basis. We kind of do it on a one-off basis every few years. But that's a great idea as well. Is when someone crosses a milestone, does your club want to recognize them in some certain way?
Well, and I think we talked a little bit about the idea that, there's some members who can't be as active as they used to be on projects, but that's a way of telling their story to newer club members.
We actually let our I've had some of our seasoned members kind of almost redo their classification talk. We have a couple very interesting. We have one man who actually was the press secretary for the Prime Minister of England when Princess Diana died. And it's an incredible story. So we have him tell it every few years so everybody hears it. And one member just a month or so ago did a talk, and he was involved in creating the old theme for Hockey Night in Canada. So, it's amazing what some people have done in the past and how they ended up in Sterling.
The one thing I would add to that, Leanne, is, and I'm sure because you're virtual, you're recording them in any case. If you get a new member or someone and get them to create snippets of those stories, they are immensely, immensely powerful we converted them into something called a Rotary Minute video, and just stories about us. And we shared that to the world. We had a story, a blanket story. We kicked it off with that. It was an amazing story. This person got a blanket from the Rotary Club of Toronto in right after World War, and in England. And I didn't know this, but we had sent a whole bunch of blankets up there, and we found out about this 70 years later, and they contacted us. We got them on the Zoom thing. We recorded them, and we made a little tiny video about it, and it went viral. It was crazy.
I've actually watched some of your little snippet Rotary Minutes because you talked about that at the president's meeting in Niagara. So I watched some of them after you spoke there. So yeah, they're great.
Prince, your club also used to take new members on sort of a tour around Toronto and point out that we supported that, we have supported that, we have supported that. Do you still do that too?
Not in COVID, it hasn't quite happened yet. What we have been trying to do is these receptions, these pub nights, and events like the parade, where we're just at this point just trying to get people interacting with each other. But what we did do in our How We Hobby segment, one of the Rotarians actually virtually took a lot of photos of across the town, across the city, different things we've done. And they just took a whole bunch of photos and so virtually shared it, but not in person. That hasn't happened for a long time.
Okay.
Actually, Mary Lou and I did a presentation a year or two before COVID at the Alliston Club, and we got into an interesting discussion about newer members who didn't really know what the club had done in the community, and we suggested maybe they do like a scavenger hunt or something where members went out and took pictures and just found all these projects that they've done in the community. I don't know if they went through with it, but it just seemed like a pretty neat idea.
They did. My understanding is that they did follow up. And then someone else shared with me a Rotary Club in 7010. I think it was Barry Way, but I could be wrong. Doesn't really matter. They did a great scavenger hunt. They took this rock, they painted the Rotary wheel on it. They called it the Rotary Rock, and they moved it around the community to projects where the club had been involved. Because sometimes we do things and there's no signage, right? You can't sign everything that you've done with the. And then people had to go, like, so when families were out for walks on the weekends, they would see if they could find where the Rotary Rock was this week. It was, and they did a whole campaign around it.
I'll just add to that, if I may, as not-for-profits or charities, you all have the ability to get Google non-for-profit accounts for free. One of the cool thing about Google non-for-profits, and we haven't done this, we haven't had a chance or opportunity to do this, is they give you, you know, those maps when you go up on Google Map and all of that. For the non-for-profits, they give you the ability to go out there and highlight a Rotary story as an example. So people searching a map might be able to see a picture in their community of, oh, this was a Rotary project. And you can do all of that for free. You just have to apply to Google that you're a not-for-profit or a charity, and they'll give you a Google non-for-profit account and then get someone to work on it. We haven't gotten around to doing that, but it's just an option.
And a little bit of an
maybe the district could do that.
A little bit of an extension of what you've been talking about. The Port Hope Club is celebrating 100 years of Rotary service this year. And we've gone around and taken pictures of things that we've done in the community and then posted them on social media. Say, did you know Rotary did this project, and a little description of it, going back to 1922.
Wow.
And I want to personally thank Leanne from the Sterling Club from saving my aching muscles at Rib Fest this year, because they have attracted some friends of Rotary that do all of the heavy lifting at some projects that they are doing. And with Ajax Rotary Club, with some 70-year-olds like myself, 80-year-olds, and even 90-year-olds, we need some heavy lifters that want to be part of the community, give back to the community, but they don't necessarily have the time to join Rotary each week. So great idea.
Richard here, I just thought about in the rooms I was in, perhaps we're not talking about inclusion and interaction with Rotaractors and interactors as much as we could be in thinking of your heavy lifting scenario, although that's not to suggest just because you're younger, you can lift more than Ken can.
So, and to Ken's point, again, I can help you out with this, but you can create a Friends of Rotary or within your email list in Club Runner, so that you can keep in contact with these people and send something out of, say, hey, we need some help on this time on Saturday morning or Friday morning to help out with Ribfest.
Mhm.
So keep that
Yes.
contact list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, how we doing, Joan, for the?
I think we have quite a few things, probably more than the last time. So thank you to everybody for sharing those. Is there anybody else who wants to put one more comment up?
Joan, not to put a comment up, but maybe on your first one.
Yes, well, I'll
I think
expand it.
the E should be A, accountability,
Oh, was it
accessibility.
Kevin? Sorry, thank
Sorry,
you.
accessibility.
Accessibility, yes, right. Oh, come on.
And the one thing that we have been talking about for 117 years or whatever it is, wear your pin. That's a great conversation starter.
Yeah.
Wear your pin or a shirt like Mary Lou's got or anything like that.
Which one? Yeah, it should be DBA. Take the E out.
All right.
And Bob, that's a great point. I know I used to travel a lot for work, and I always had my Paul Harris pin on my blazer lapel. And I've been talked a number of times, even sitting on a plane, somebody walks by and says, "Oh, is that a Paul Harris pin?"
Yep. Yep.
And great conversation.
Any of you that were in Toronto or any international convention, were walking down the street with pins on, you immediately have a connection with people from all over the world.
That's right. Yeah.
A conversation starter.
All right. So are you happy with the list, Joan?
I'm very happy with the list. I will make a correction. I can't get that to go away, but I'll fix that. I'm going to save it. So thank you,
And
everyone.
if anyone, if you have, think of something, send it our way and we'll add it to the list. I did promise, well, first of all, I'm going to say thank you to Mary Lou for being our moderator, to our panelists. You guys were great. What a great job you did. I'm sure it must have been a little bit frustrating to be in the middle of a sentence and be popped out.
Sorry.
But that actually added to the whole event. So thank you very much for sharing all your ideas. It's amazing all the ideas that are out there, and hopefully we could put some of them to work. And I know we're coming to we're coming to a point where we're all deciding whether we're being in person or Zooming or doing both or whatever. And there is an opportunity to be in person in May. Correct, Joe?
That's right. May 13th to 15th, Oshawa Courtyard Marriott Hotel. And if I was just thinking, that's where actually I kind of got to know Virginia a couple of years ago, a few years ago, and Mary Lou. And it's an amazing opportunity to just get together with all the people you've been seeing on Zoom. Here, if you've never been to one, it's incredible. I just want to say a little word about the speakers. And the speakers are great, but the real attraction is being with other Rotarians. The energy is amazing. But I just want to let you know, because I'm on the organizing committee, I'm booking the speakers. Our first, there it is right there, Peter Uni. who is he's the scientific director of the Ontario Science Council, or that's what it's called, the advisory table. Yeah, he's the guy who you see quoted at great length in the media. He's wonderful. Jennifer Wright from GM is going to be talking about going into the future. Dawn Lavelle Harvard, an Indigenous leader, one of the great Indigenous women in this country. Todd Simcover, a wonderful guy, fascinating individual. He's an autism self-advocate. He's got some great ideas about neurodiversity. Farida Nexad, who is one of the leading independent journalists in Afghanistan, who left the day the Taliban took over. She and her daughter fled. She came to Toronto, and then she's now up in Ottawa as a journalist in residence at Carleton. We have some great breakout rooms. The people from Washrag, it was called Washrag. I think they call it Washrag now. They're going to be there. Our own Marty Franson from Oshawa, who's a fraud cop. He's a detective, has some great stuff. And we have Kirk Johnson, who's a sustainability expert, works across the country. He's going to talk about what you can do at your home. And I'm just about to hopefully book a woman who's got a fascinating and really important story to tell. She spent her lifetime dealing with eating disorders, and she's now a psychiatrist. She's a third-year resident who's got a lot of great revolutionary ideas about how to deal with that type of thing, which she says has really been highlighted during the pandemic. And she's got a heck of a story to tell. So it's good. And so the speakers are going to be great. Chance to meet other Rotarians, rub elbows with them, get great ideas, and I hope to see you all there.
Perfect.
Thank you. So, DG Ron, good plug?
Ron?
Yep.
Oh, there he is.
Yep. Thank you, Virginia. Great session today. And thanks for everybody for contributing. I got a page and a half of notes, and I'm going to take a lot of these goodies back to our club. I'm not sure what else I can say. I just want to add one thing to what Joe mentioned, and that is I just want to share my screen. On Friday afternoon, the district conference, we've got golf starting at 1 o'clock. So if you do want to come in and swing your clubs, you can see the email address there for Grant Desjardins to book your foursome or book it in as part of a foursome. We also have complimentary tours of Parkwood Estate. Now, these have to be in groups of 10. So if you do want to come in Friday afternoon and take a tour of Parkwood Estate, and that's the original home of Colonel McLaughlin, the original president of GM Canada. You just have to reserve your spot with Grant Desjardins at his email address here. We're looking at adding one or two other activities. We're just waiting to confirm with those individuals. So we'll have lots for you to do if you come in early Friday. Friday evening, we've got the traditional reception that we'll have at the hotel, followed by 3 hospitality suites. So be sure to come in Friday for the weekend. And as Joe said, you're going to be able to mix and mingle with people you haven't been able to for 3 years, unless you're a member of the Whitby Sunrise Club, because they mix and mingle every weekend. But we look forward to hosting you and wowing you in May.
Also, I forgot Saturday evening entertainment, the Sentimentalists, who are this incredible duo of mentalists. I guess they're like, I don't know, Kreskin, but better. They were on Penn and Teller Fooled Us, and they fooled them. These people have played all over the place, and we're really lucky to have them. And they're going to give us some entertainment on Saturday evening.
And I have to say a huge thank you to Joe for putting this all together. Give him a round of applause. What a program.
Yeah.
And there is another contest on till midnight tonight. So if you haven't registered for the conference already, the room rate of $129 is guaranteed until midnight tonight. And we do have a gift basket, one gift basket of wine and one gift basket of Rotary swag for those people that have registered by midnight tonight. So if you haven't done it, get on the district website, click on the event, and send along your deposit.
Okay, well, we are at 11:18. I apologize, 3 minutes over, but thank you to everyone who attended. Um, share your ideas, take them back to your club, just or and if there's any that you share them back to Joan and I, we'll add to the list. But thank you all for spending Saturday morning with us, and hope to see you in person soon someday.